The new M. Night Shyamalan movie Trap just came out a few weeks ago, and I was honestly excited to see it. And considering that I made a review of another M. Night movie last year, which I wasn't a big fan of, I really wanted to see what was next from him. I've only seen it once so far, but I'll definitely watch it again. Let me put the idea aside that this may just be a concert movie promoting M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's music career with a suspenseful backdrop and heroism sprinkled in. Put that on the back burner for now. I want to talk about some good and bad of this movie before going into spoilers for further discussion. The concept in itself was interesting to me. I like seeing scenarios where someone is trying to make an escape. And with this movie, it's not just him trying to escape, but also keep his identity secret. So it adds another layer to the problem. Josh Hartnett was amazing in this. He stole the show for me. Every time you saw Josh Hartnett's character, whose name is Cooper, on screen, you could see the wheels turning in his brain. You could tell he was searching for any possible way for an escape. He was very convincing. He appeared to be a fun-loving father, and it seemed he really was to an extent, which I'll say more about that later. Even when he was watching his daughter Riley having the time of her life at the concert, it was sweet. Whether it was all a put-on, it appeared real. Of course, some of his motivations to get to certain areas or talking to certain people was driven by his need to escape, but at the same time, it benefited his daughter. He got her the t-shirt she wanted, she got to go backstage, she even met some friends while he was away. It may seem like I'm picking at straws here, but that's how I truly felt about it. The acting overall was good, besides Seleka. And I'm not trying to pick on her, she just stood out to me with her acting compared to everyone else. The music was fine, I guess. I was hoping for more atmospheric music like we usually see in M. Night movies. I've always liked when he teams up with James Newton Howard for a soundtrack, but it was all Lady Raven pop music, which I get. We were in a concert for 80% of the movie. That's just literally the background noise. So some criticisms I've heard after this movie from others in the theater is the wanting to see killing, at the very least from Cooper, and wanting to know more about Cooper's past. I also share this criticism. I understand that feeling. However, I'd argue that that is not what the movie is about. It's about an established killer, Cooper, going about his day, spending quality time with his daughter, unknowingly about to be caught. It's about his fight to maintain anonymity and evade the cops. This scenario, this world, is already set up. The police have done their investigation. We aren't privy to that part. We are here to witness the end of a killer that has been tormenting a city. This movie isn't about his journey. We're not here to see his monstrous work that we hear about. And it's not even about his victims. We are here to see if justice will be served. There's nothing we need to know about him. Although I want to know more about him, his motivations and all that, I don't think it would have changed anything about the movie. Even if we saw him kill, if we knew his reasonings and methods, it wouldn't have changed anything story-wise or what happened. I feel like that's for a different type of movie. But I get it. I am interested in Cooper. I also wanted to see him kill and see that side of him fully. I wanted to see the butcher, Josh Hartnett. I mean, I love a good villain. I've also mentioned this in my No One Lives review. I was rooting for Cooper, honestly. But that's just not what M. Night wanted to show. His movies aren't ever really graphic or gory from what I recall. He plays it pretty safe. One last thing before spoilers I just want to say is that the ending, to me, felt very drawn out. We probably could have cut out a good 10-15 minutes and put in more content. Like possibly more background if needed, more scenarios within the concert of Cooper plotting and escape attempts. There were definitely some conveniences to get where we were heading, but maybe we didn't need that. It's like they rushed some things just to draw out the ending, where it didn't need to be drawn out for that long. So I previously mentioned that Cooper actually seemed to love his children. I believe this because at the end, when he is confronting his wife about getting caught, his anger and rage at her was extreme and unmistakable. His reasoning for these feelings towards her was because he would never see his children again. And this is another moment where Josh Hartnett's acting is just incredible to me. You could see he just wanted to destroy his wife for betraying him, and as a result, his kids would grow up without him. And when he says he never felt that kind of rage before, you believe it. And that makes him even more interesting because he's a freaking serial killer. When he is torturing and killing his victims, how does he feel? It makes you wonder. And about the concept that this was a concert movie for Seleka, I feel that's just undeniable. She becomes a main character. She puts herself in harm's way to take down Cooper. She even involves her fans to help solve the mystery, in which they quickly and conveniently do. I love how the victim that Cooper was holding hostage said he was blindfolded, yet he remembers very specific details that were crucial to finding him. And with that information, Lady Raven tells her fans, who then find the location. I don't know, I have doubts that he would be found that quickly. The whole time she was in Cooper's home, it had some tension, but then some parts were a little silly. Like, did we really need a personal concert with Lady Raven? I was like, what are we doing here? Why didn't she just text her driver, her manager, just anybody? That's the one thing I felt Cooper had no control over. He could control himself and his family, but not Lady Raven. I had no indication that she didn't have access to her phone the whole time. In fact, she took Cooper's phone to contact his victim and then used her phone to go live regarding the situation. She started to outsmart the family. Like, the whole third act was a bit of a bust for me besides Cooper. It's like they were trying to pad out the runtime, yet rush the finding of the victim and catching Cooper. The whole last part was odd for me. Cooper confronting his wife later and revealing she was the one that had suspicion about his whereabouts was really his downfall. He was done at that point. And that angered him in a way he has never felt before. That damn wife of his. There's a somewhat final showdown. I was fully expecting him to get shot, especially since he almost attacked an officer, but no, they tase him. I had a split-second thought of, oh, they want to take him alive to maybe experiment on him, but no, they just needed him alive for the final ending. I love the openness to it. Do I want more Cooper? Yes, but I don't think it would be justice for him. Josh Hartnett did a great job at being that typical serial killer type with a family, like a BTK or something. And right up until the end, he's trying to escape. It kind of reminded me of that movie Oxygen with Adrian Brody for some reason, escaping his cuffs just to show that he could. It excites him. It's a power play. We are left with him thrilled with what will come next. What does he have in store? How can he possibly keep going while kept in a police car? Who knows? And that's how it ends. He continues to live another day. Comparing this to the last few M. Night movies, I really enjoyed this film. It kept me wanting more, but in a good way. It didn't leave me with questions or problems that inhibited the story. It left me with more interest in the main character. And to me, that's a positive. If there was any more story, like a prequel, a sequel of Cooper's, I'd watch it. It's purely for my enjoyment of watching Josh Hartnett trying to maintain his composure all day, just knowing that underneath it all, there's a sick, cold-blooded killer. And we were deprived of that. This isn't Law & Order, this isn't the Oxygen Channel or some true crime drama. For me, it's a simple thriller story trying to take down a killer. I'll take the good with the bad. My positives outweigh my negatives here. My husband hated it, but I remain firm that I really enjoyed it. With an amusing story, a good cast, I appreciate this one more than the other movies I've seen so far this year. Don't get me wrong, the bar is not very high, I would say, but give Trap a watch. It has suspense, it has some comedy. If you're just interested in an escape type movie, give it a try. I'm curious how others feel about this film since I don't know anyone else that's seen it.
I am completely in control.
Are you interested in seeing it? If you've seen it, how did you feel about it? It is an M. Night movie, so there's always mixed feelings about him. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the next one.